Well, welcome, Pip, and thank you so much for joining us on Blue Notes. One of the first things I wanted to kind of throw out to you is this notion of, it used to be quite rare for companies from different sectors to collaborate, but it's quite common these days. What's Microsoft's approach to that?
Well, I'd agree with you. It is way more common today than it used to be. For me, I think it is symbolic of the interconnected world we're all living in. Just take an example, transportation, one of my favourite topics right now. When you think about the future of transportation, it's not going to be solved by car manufacturers alone. We've got to change regulation for autonomous vehicles. And in fact, many of them will be only autonomous because they're using technology and data to be in that environment. So government, businesses, car manufacturers, they're all going to have to come together to create what's possible in the new world.
And if we talk about specifically about financial services, I know that's not your background, but Microsoft kind of dabbles in a lot of things, and in fact have been in financial services as well. But thinking about ANZ, what do you think is our role, and what's your view on our approach to how we deal with all these other players like fintechs and so on?
Well, I think, when I look at financial services and banks, you did a great job at taking people out of line and putting them online. I think you set the bar for that, candidly. So now it's in this new world is, what's the next disruptor? And often we look at people or companies outside, and what a company used to be a competitor, but now actually they're just part of the ecosystem. So the people we never wanted to work with, we're never going to work with them, because if you're going to evolve and if you're going to deliver new services to your customers, you've got to think differently about the different parts of the ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, we've been using this term ecosystem a lot as well. I think it's the new term, right? Or what do they say, the new black? But I think when we talk about ecosystem, we say, okay, let's say for homeowners, we're very central to the home loan, but actually we interact with people at such a huge point in their lives. This is probably the biggest financial decision they'll ever make. It's a very emotional decision as well. And there's lots of activities and connection points that happen around that. So we say, okay, typically we would have said, how do we do all that ourselves and how do we create new revenue streams? But now we're saying, actually, how do we just help connect customers and make it easy? And we operate as a key part of that ecosystem, but we're not afraid of working with other people.
I think it gives you a lot of opportunities using that analogy. And of course, there's the moment I buy a house, but actually I'm thinking about managing my finances now as a homeowner and all the utilities that come into there. And actually, when can I afford to do this or not afford to do this? And the role that you can take and helping me as a customer manage that whole part of my life, I think that's game changing. And you can't do that living in a bubble.
Exactly.
I think you've got to get out there and collaborate. And in that world, I think collaborating, you can't just plan for collaboration. I love the organisations that are looking for random moments of serendipity. There's a guy I know who runs Rode Microsoft, Rode Microphones for Australia. He's an incredible guy, Peter Friedman. And he sells more advanced microphones than almost anybody else in the world, manufactured here in Australia. What Peter does is he goes to trade shows that have absolutely nothing to do with his business just to see what's possible, putting himself in the way of other innovators to create something new that he can't even plan for. I think that's a great opportunity.
So placing yourself in the ecosystem and seeing kind of where those crossover points are for customers and how we participate in that in a way that's relevant, I guess, for customers today, because customers don't always think of just one brand delivering everything for them. They know this is the information age, right? People have so much access.
And they want experiences.
Exactly.
And so how do you help create platforms for your customers actually in bringing lots of different parts of the ecosystem together? I think there's so many different ways we're going to amplify or augment that value chain in this new digital era.